MMA scraps is why most shows tap out then cry. We the ones like 'em now at the end of the bout with our hands to the.
I'm doing good, bro. Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely. Now, listen, we have a lot of things to talk to you about because, whenever a fighter goes out there and puts on a performance like you, of course, there's a lot of questions like where did the animal come from? I mean, you used to be this pit bull, which where you got your name from before, and you really showed it again this last fight, and it seemed like you were more motivated this fight than even in the John Fitch fight. Can you explain that?
Yeah, I changed a lot of things, in my environment, in my training camp, and in my lifestyle, to just, focus on my main goal, which is, being a professional athlete and become a welterweight champion one day. And once I took all the distractions, all the bad, negative people and negative attitudes in my life, everything just became natural for me. I finally found myself again on the old me, the desire, the motivation, the determination that I had, and I was actually enjoying the whole process again. It's been 2 years since my last win, inside of the octagon, and I kind of lost myself in those 2 years. It was 2 years I fought two of the top guys, GSP and John Fitch. It wasn't enough time, to keep me sharp and to keep me grounded between those 2 years, between those two fighters to get where I need to get. But and that's in the past now, man. Now I got everything where it needs to be. I got the house in order, and I'm ready to do battle anytime, anywhere against anybody.
Now, I want to rewind a little bit back to the Fitch fight, and then we're going to come forward from that after that. Going into it, you had obviously some problems with weight, which has been kind of the story for you over the last couple of years. Now, obviously that's changed, but can you kind of tell us what it was like going to weigh-ins against Fitch and having to struggle a little bit there and what your mindset was?
For my last two fights against GSP and John Fish, I passed out a few times trying to make weight, a few days before the fight. Actually, when I fought GSP, I passed out in the elevator. The elevator was packed with people at UFC 100. And that was one of the times, for the Fitch fight, I passed out on like 4 times trying to make weight, inside of the sauna and all that. I was just miserable 2 weeks before the fight, I was just miserable, like completely miserable. I had no energy to go through the training, and it's just a mental game. You got to push yourself, you got to do it, but my body couldn't respond the way I wanted because I didn't have the right food inside me and the right nutrients to perform at the level that I need to perform.
Now, you've always said you were a welterweight, but after that last Fitch fight, there was some talk about maybe you having to go up to middleweight, and that's where Mike Dolce came in. We talked to Mike a couple of months ago, right as he accepted the assignment to be your guy, to change your life, and he was always confident that he was going to be able to do that. Can you kind of tell us what that process has been like and how it's changed your life?
Like since my last fight against Fish, and I called Dolce like a week after the fight, and we started talking and everything. And the way that he introduced his diet, his lifestyle to my lifestyle wasn't anything like demanding or anything like that. The guy's so good that said we're gonna, you gotta see this as a ship, in the middle of the ocean, and now we're just gonna guide the ship, and put you where I want you to be. Slowly, you're gonna be on track. So we had like 2 months to get ready for this fight. And every week you just, that's gonna be your Monday goal, your Tuesday goal. That's gonna be your goal for the week. Just like easy. He was just like making adjustments in my life. Small decisions every day. That leads you to a bigger decision. In the future that's gonna be easier for you. And just this whole philosophy of life. And you gotta feel good. You gotta enjoy. Every moment you gotta feel good about everything that you're doing. You eat the right stuff. Your body's gonna react the way that you want it to react. Like I used to take a bunch of pills, like vitamin pills and this and supplements and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And now we cut it out like a lot. And now it's just eating good, healthy food, and like it is. One of the things that most impressed me was we go to the Whole Food Market, and we buy a bunch of food, and before, right, you have to go through the cashier, you got to put the food on the table.
Mm-hmm.
And, once all the food is on the table, it makes you look at the food. You see that? That's what's going to go inside of your body, feel good about it because this is all healthy food, and that's how your body's going to feel in a few days. You're going to go through those food, and you're gonna feel amazing. And little things like that he said to you. Once you start like looking at it, it just makes a huge difference because you understand what he's trying to say. I'm the kind of guy that if you tell me something, I might believe it, I might do it, but once you make me understand and make me a part of it, I will just follow completely because I trust. I know that's the truth.
Now, how excited are you about the UFC going to Brazil next year?
I'm very excited, for us Brazilians, and especially for me, because I'm like the new generation of MMA in Brazil. And when I grew up and was fighting in Brazil, I saw Vanderlei, Minotauro, and Shogun, all those guys, in the big league and everything. And they all talk about having a big fight in Brazil and everything. Now that I'm actually in that picture, where those guys used to be a while ago, and I'm like training with them and like in the same level as them. It's just pretty cool, knowing that I have the opportunity to fight in Brazil. My hometown. It's just, it's going to be huge. I think the biggest thing in Brazil, and besides the World Cup, it's going to be the UFC in Brazil. For sports wise, because it's huge. MMA in Brazil, it's huge. You're a football player, or you're like a soccer player, or you're a fighter. Those are the biggest athletes in Brazil right now, and I'm really excited. It's going to be a huge, huge thing for Brazil.
Now, it's kind of far away, but I assume that you're going to try everything you can to be on that card, yeah?
Oh, yeah, I told him I want to fight beginning of April and March again. In August again. UFC Brazil.
Now, looking at the kind of the landscape of MMA and the UFC now with the last WEC going off this week, the influx of fighters into the UFC makes it highly competitive. And if you don't go out there and win, you need to go out there and be exciting. Did anything like that go through your mind in this last fight with John Howard? Because obviously it's a matchup you finally have wanted to have to showcase your skills. You've always said that you wanted to fight someone who's going to stand with you, and John Howard did that. Were you not thinking about having to be exciting, or is that something that's always going to be in the back of your mind that if for some reason you can't pull out the win, you have to be exciting to keep your job?
If you